We've got a 1999 Ford Ranger that we're going to walk through the steps in order to replace the fuel pump. Before we begin the repair, we'll remove the negative battery cable. We'll also bleed the system using our pressure gauge relief valve. Always be sure and catch this fuel into a safe container. Now we will raise the vehicle in order to gain access to the fuel tank. We'll remove the filler hose and the vent hose. In order to gain access to the tank straps, we'll remove this shield. Disconnect the electrical connection and remove the tank straps. We can slightly lower the tank to gain access to the emissions fitting. Now we will disconnect the emissions line and the fuel pressure line. Discard the old clips. The new Airtex fuel pump comes with new clips. Before disconnecting the fuel line, you'll have to remove the safety retainer. Also be sure and use the appropriate tool to remove the fuel line. The fuel line release tools are available at your local parts store. Keep in mind there may be some residual pressure at the fuel line fitting. Be sure and capture this in a safe container. Once we've removed the fuel line and emissions lines, now we can lower the tank and remove it from under the vehicle so we can clean the top of the tank in order to keep any debris from getting into the tank when we remove the pump. We will be required to use a spanner wrench in order to remove the lock ring. Make sure and adjust the spanner wrench to fit the lock ring properly. These tools are available at the local auto parts store. Now we can remove the hanger assembly in order to clean the inside of the tank. As we can see, there is some contaminants built up on the strainer. Even if your fuel pump strainer does not show these signs, we always recommend cleaning the inside of the tank. Now that we've thoroughly cleaned the inside of our tank, we're ready to install the new Airtex hanger assembly. You do have the option of replacing the pump only on this hanger assembly. By replacing the complete hanger assembly, you not only get a new pump, but also a new pressure regulator and sending unit. With the fuel pump hanger assembly, you get two horseshoe style retainer clips and your tank seal. We can install the tank seal in its position on the tank now. Also note, on the bottom of the flange is a narrow and a wide locating tab. There is adjoining tabs on the top of the tank. With the hanger assembly fully into the tank, we can install our jar lid and tighten it with our spanner wrench. For ease of installation, we'll install our retainer clips into the end of the emissions line. As we begin raising the tank into position, be sure and work the filler and the vent hose over the top of the frame. With the tank in this position, we can reattach the emissions line, the fuel line, and then raise the tank slightly to install the rear emissions line and the electrical connection. With the tank into position, we can now reattach the fuel filler hose and the vent hose. Now we can install our straps and tighten them and reinstall the tank shield. With the installation of the new Airtex hanger assembly complete, we will now reattach the negative battery cable. We will cycle the key 2 to 3 times in order to charge the system. Once we start the vehicle, be sure and monitor the fuel pressure, making sure it's within the vehicle specifications. To remove the gauge, we'll shut the engine off and bleed the pressure from the system using the pressure relief on the gauge, making sure to capture any fuel in a safe container.